Welcome back, Hordlings, to more Neverwinter Night's Witch's Wake. And Ronstock getting his ass handed to him. Ilsa Steinfar.
A scowl playing across her broad, stern face, this woman marches toward you. Her skin is gray and tight, somehow reminding you of dead wood half buried in the sand. She plants her feet and crosses her arms. Ye have some nerve barging into a woman's home, interrupting her from her weaving? Why, when me husband comes home...
Fool! I'm an associate of your husband's. The woman blushes. Some welcome color comes to her pale gray features. Of course, I'm sorry. How can I help while we wait? I seek the carving stone. Carving stone? At the borough site? The guild consul came in the storm last night, calling for me husband and saying there were trouble back at the stone. He hasn't been back since. What exactly is the stone? The woman's eyes are weaving in sighs. No one really knows. The legend only say that broken shattered arm emerged from underworld. It held the carving stone tight within its fist. From the underworld? Look, if you be that curious of history of things, you best go to the guild hall and talk to Helga. She turns the intent on returning to her weaving. How do I get to the guild hall? The woman grinds her teeth in frustration. There'll only be so many buildings in the whole village. Bah, fine, it's close by, just the other side of the mine. Have any strangers come through town lately? Yes, a group of maybe 50 or so passed through yesterday. I never saw them myself, but my husband says they be knights from some distant order of the south. Apparently they headed up north through the pass. They'd come to see the night hag, I suppose, though goodness knows why. Every now and then, though, the folks comes through asking of her. Who can tell me about these knights? The dwarf ponders this for a moment. No doubt the guild consul will know something of it. If you be that interested, you might want to ask Ilga over at the guild hall. What do you know of this night hag? She be the witch constantly among down from the cemetery in the past. To sell her filthy rags, with dwarves steer well clear of her where ye can, and ye'd be wise to do the same. Thank you for the free experience.
A note hangs from a hook on the metal-clad door.
Warning, the mine sealed at the request of the guild consul. Do not enter. The note is signed by someone named Jäger Steinfar. Okay.
The guild hall seems cluttered and claustrophobic. Beaded with sweat, the older woman before you fusses about the dust and occasionally helps herself to a drink from the ale kegs in the corner. You finally catch her attention. If ye be looking for the council, she slurs, they be down at the barrow all night and day, dealing with the kerfuffle there.
Who are you? I be Helga Answater, spelled with a W, sounded like a V. I keep the guild hall in one piece, clean up after the council meetings, and see people through the exhibits. Older than boulders, they call me. Exhibits? What do you mean? The look of the shock that crosses her face almost seems to sober her. "Have ye not heard? We be Brogan's own brood here. There be history in this place and the bedrock beneath it. We be long-lived, we be borrowed dwarves, but even we be known to die. If we forget our ancestors and not pay homage to what's past, we'll all but wither away. Even the drink won't save us then. The guild keeps an exhibit hall upstairs, so the clan knows where it came from. We let outsiders like ye too, but at the price of 50 guilders. Think you'd be interested?" "I don't have money for that shit. Perhaps you can sell your wares to Agmar or Smithy in return. To be the fine history of the council put up there, with plenty of talk of Cadvion stone and more." "I'm looking for the Cadvion stone." The old dwarf's eyes light up within her ash-grey face. "True. We have a whole exhibit on the stone. If you seek it, we'd better thing to do than educate yourself about it." "Have any strangers been through town lately?" "Aye. We get a few wandering this far north occasionally. Some be lost, some come for purpose. In yesterday's council meeting there was talk of company of soldiers passing through. I heard them pass by my shutters, but they never stopping in to see the exhibits, except the one fellow. Perhaps he was with them. If so, he stayed behind to chat with me after the others left town." "That one fellow, tell me about him." The old woman's eyes glaze over in a memory. "He was a charmer, he was, even for an elf." She chuckles to herself. "I let him in for half price. He said he was here for the Cadvion stone. He was wearing armor, the leathers all polished to white and black, the rivets gleaming golden in the lamplight." The dwarf eyes your equipment curiously. "Like yours, I guess, but cleaner." "They all stayed upstairs in the exhibit hall all night. I must have been sleeping when he left because he was gone by morning when I went up there." "Can I see the exhibits?" "I suppose I can do that for you. The council seems them up there, so the clan always remembers where they come from." "It's 50 guilders." I'll get in to see him myself.
You try the latch on the heavy door and find... You try the latch on the heavy door and find it. You try the latch on the heavy...
Looks like we're paying the money.
Helga turns, bleary-eyed, to face you. Yeah. You try the latch on the heavy door and find it...
Okay, well that must not be where the fuck I'm trying to go then. You stupid dirty bitch.
A note is pasted to the door, the ink fading with the years. It reads...
Please use the north door. Okay, can I fucking go check this shit out? That's cool.
Helga turns, bleary...
You've already paid, no sense giving me more money now, is there? She punished. Okay.
A note is pasted to the door, the ink fading with the years. It reads...
It reads, use the goddamn other fucking door that I've already tried 7 fucking times. That's what it reads. Oh, now it fucking opens. Asshole.
There was a time when we barrow dwarves were known as cairn dwarves. We lived deep within the northern bedrock, united and led by a great leader and warrior, Brogan Noctjager. It was Brogan who instructed us to journey to the surface world each time a clan member died, that we might leave their body there on a rocky cairn where they might be closer to the heavens. The rule of Brogan Nochtjager was long and just. The rivalries within our clan were quelled beneath his leadership, and we lived for many centuries in peace, safe within the halls of Brogan's Deep. As the centuries passed, Brogan Nochtjager grew old and frail. His great battle prowess faded from him, and he grew melancholy. He turned his attention inward to his clan home of Brogan's Deep. He financed great feats of construction and expansion. Under his aging guidance, frail and dying, Brogan followed the tunnel he had ordered built and stepped into the Stygian abyss. There he petitioned that realm's demonic lords for a warrior's death. The Stygian lords granted his request, returning him to the prowess of his youth and enslaving him as a gladiator for their amusement. Returned to his youthful glory, Brogan Nochtjager fought unlike any other the world has known, besting even the Stygian lords themselves. When all lay dead, he began the long march home to Brogan's Deep. As Brogan walked, he aged once more. His bones became brittle, his back stooped, and all the while his feet were scorched by Stygia's shifting sands, and his throat was parched by its ash-filled air. When Brogan at last arrived at the gate to his former domain, as old and frail as he had been when last he saw it, he found it guarded by 4 ancient red dragons of the abyss. As Brogan walked, when Brogan at last arrived, they tore his body limb from limb and scattered the pieces to the 4 far corners of the world. The dragons then tore open the gates to Brogan's Deep, wreaking their vengeance upon the clan within. A great war was waged against the forces of Stygia within those ancestral halls, and, in the end, our forefathers chose the only victory they could. They collapsed the upper chambers of the clan home and sealed the passage between...
Shut the fuck up.
Thus it was that, exiled from our ancestral home, we barrow dwarves came to live upon the snowy surface like the dead. We learned to follow the elkin beasts in their migrations, hunting them for food. But the clan grew ever smaller amidst the spirits of this place. There came a time when there was only one man left alive who still remembered Brogan's face. His name was Old Man Kavanaugh. Like Brogan before him, he was old and frail. No longer able to hunt, he thought himself a burden upon the clan. One night, as the blizzard howled, he slipped from his tent and walked into the blinding snows. There, his breath turned to ice upon his beard. Closer to death than life, Old Man Kavanaugh stumbled and found his face pressed against the tattooed arm of Brogan Nochtjager embedded in the snows.
Whoops.
Thus it was that,
I could click on the right fucking thing and
there,
work.
his breath turned to ice upon his beard. The hunters found him there the next morning and brought his body back to camp together with the arm. A barrow was erected there according to the old ways, and the village of Brogan's Arm grew about it. Clutched in Brogan's frozen fist was a chunk of hellish rock that sputters and smokes to this day. It is known as the Kavanaugh Stone, as the old man is said to have survived many dark hours by its warmth. Perhaps the stone played some role in the mysterious spring that formed where Brogan's frozen arm had been discovered. The water, warm and sulfurous, is still used for many ceremonial purposes. Known as Brogan's Tears, we continue to bring this magical water to the surface by way of the old man's well. This well, carefully preserved, still marks the original site at the village's southwest corner. The waters you stand in now are drawn from that same source. Please follow the waters through to the second half of our exhibit, where you will learn of a third place where Brogan's tears have surfaced.
Like, I'm in a freaking museum here.
In the dim light, you see a message scrawled onto the stone abutment at the water's edge. And so it is that through the warmth of Brogan's tears, we barrow dwarves have journeyed from the past into the present, from the stuff of legend to the substance of our daily lives. Besides the old man's well, Brogan's tears also emerge at the barrow site, the cultural heart of our village. It is there that the Kavanaugh stone is held, and there that Brogan's arm still rests. The barrow site is holy ground, sacred to us all, forever wetted by Brogan's tears and imbued with his warrior spirit. As his sons, we partake in that spirit and stand as eternal guards against the forces of Stygia. Mining is now the primary industry here in Brogan's Arm. This began 2 generations past with Arn Steinfar's founding of the Steinfar gem mine. The vein was rich and the clan saw great prosperity. With prosperity, however, came greed. The vein, laden with gems, lured the miners ever deeper into the rock, ever closer to Brogan's Deep, which we had so long ago abandoned to the demon hordes. It wasn't long before those hordes broke through, escaping their long confinement and slaughtering the very miners they had lured to free them. Arn Steinfar and his eldest son died in that haunted place. The Guild Council, in its wisdom, was quick to act. Volunteer armsmen entered the mine and held an important pass, while behind them, charges were set and detonated. In the end, only the uppermost floor of the mine remained intact. The brave dwarves who held the pass against the demons below were buried, victims of our greed, in a shower of gems. The old gem mine is still owned by the Steinfar family and is currently being reinvigorated and returned to production by Arn Steinfar's grandson, Jager, at the encouragement of the Guild Council. Acting in full compliance with strict council regulations, Jager has agreed to pursue an iron vein that runs parallel to the surface. As of this writing, work has been underway for 3 years without violation. The Steinfar mines are an important part of our clan heritage, and we, the Guild Council, are proud to be working with the Steinfar family to bring them back into production.
Thus, this concludes the end of our museum tour. A free experience.
A note is pasted to the door.
Okay, well, what the fuck are you gonna do?
A note is pasted to the door, the ink fading with the years.
Yeah, there you go, you stupid.
A note is pasted to the...
draws nigh.
A note is pasted to the door.
There you go. Way to write a good game there. Now I'm stuck behind this fucking door because you cunts don't know how to write a fucking game.
A note is pasted to the door.
You stupid fucking moron motherfuckers. Your game is shit. Your expansion is a piece of dog shit. I could have wrote a better goddamn expansion than my dick tip.
A note is pasted to the door.
Alright, that's
the
cool.
Ink fading
Now I'm
with
fucking
the years.
stuck here. Awesome. Alright.
A note is pasted to the...
I managed to reload on the other side of the door. Appreciate it.
Helga turns, bleary-eyed, to face you. "Ye again, is it?" she says, her voice slurred. "What be it now?"
Eat my dick!
There be no need for you to be ringing that now, understand me?
Ring ding dong! Ring a ding 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 dong! It is locked. It was locked before my dog and giant badger broke it down. Holy cannoli. Bet she's got more alcohol in her house than I do. She even hides it in her plant like I do. That's awesome. She's a lush.
Blast that elf! Are ye sure the stone be gone? Mayhaps it fell and skittered into some dark corner we cannot find. The Kavanagh stone be gone, gentlemen, and Brogan's honor with it, stolen by the foreigner. Aye, it be him. He's hidden it somewhere. Quiet! Keep your voices down, lest the whole town learn of what's gone on.
She doesn't do voices as good as I do. As well as I do.
The heavily muscled dwarf gnaws at his lower lip as he pounds the anvil. Sensing your presence, he turns to face you. What you want? He scowls.
Are you the local blacksmith? That was Ronstock doing his best lug voice. Shit, I forgot I was playing Ronstock. So used to playing lug. The man's lip hangs, limp and swollen from his face. Yeah, he grunts. You notice that his right eye has some sort of tick, constantly darting inward. May I see your stock? Asks Ronstock. He points you in the right direction, gesturing dismissively. The dwarf's lower lip returns to its toothy cage as he begins to hammer once more on the anvil. His left eye continues to watch you. Not like I got a whole lot. Nor could I afford shit. For 100 gold he will polish rusty items, but I'm not going to give all my money to polish a rusty helm.
The old dwarf pauses in his endless pacing. Your eyes can't help but drift to where his sleeve has been stitched closed over a missing arm. He raps his walking stick against the floor, reclaiming your gaze.
The one-armed dwarf!
Me face be up here. Now, if your business be with things of magic, you've come to the right place. If your business be otherwise, you'd best be off and pestering the likes of others.
You deal in magic? The wizened old man shakes into his robes. Potions, crafting, and things arcane, aye. There be power in their darkened arts, you see. Enough to destroy the soul of things. Just ask me, Raven. Business must be slow around here. It comes and goes, but I'm afraid I've got poor Raggletag's habits to consider. Better a fair price than none at all. What happened to your arm? You can hear his teeth grinding against each other. I lost it to Karpolov, he finally admits. A fiend from the Stygian pits. I was still young then when we fought to collapse the mines. Why were you trying to collapse the mines? Read your history, lad. That'd be why they built the Guildhall exhibits, isn't it? To paint in their veil of lies? Well, there be things even the exhibits don't tell you hear. I seek the Cavignon stone. Ah, the Cavignon stone, nods the old man. It can't be a hard thing to find, seeing how the clan so foolishly reveres it. The stone being evil born of the Stygia, leaving foul waters everywhere it goes. Why do you say it's born of Stygia? I have seen the demons of that place, lad, and it bears their same burning skin and smell of sulphur. It can be a cunning thing, and the clan's reverence for it bodes more than ill. The stone befouls water? The dwarf taps his walking stick against the flaxen as he ponders how best to express it. The stone doesn't befoul water so much as it slowly draws foul waters to it, by and by. Why is it foolish to revere it? Why do they honor to such a rock, placing it on an altar beneath the open sky? Where be the arm of our clan father Brogan? It was in his hand the stone was found, and for him this town be named. Yet, where be his arm that we rightly should be revering? It be nothing but rotten dust, long ago forgotten. The Cavignon stone be a usurper of Brogan's honor. Have any strangers come through town lately? Most recent be that 50-odd band of knights that headed north into the pass, but the town knights be not quite accurate. They struck me as being a warrior scholar of a sort. Those who came in spoke most knowledgeably of the dark arts and chose from my wares accordingly, but much power still be left. Luckily, it proved tolerant of my poor thieving raven. You have a raven? The old man grimaces. Aye, Raggletag, my poor familiar. I fear my work will be the death of her. She's fallen in love with me infernal contraption, you see. Why, what does the contraption do? He remarks, shaking his grizzled head. It be a mistake. I should have never crafted it. It's tried to spin gold from thin air. I should have known better to meddle in such things. In a fit of anger, the one-armed dwarf lashes out with his walking stick, nearly breaking it against the bookshelves. Even when you succeed, you fail. I'm sorry, poor Raggletag. It really spins gold from thin air? Do your dat, my foolish lad. Go try it yourself and you'll see. Throw your guilders down the tube, and you'll soon find something that even more emerges and something less. Sooner to leave you a hollow man, lad, as it did me with this Raggletag. Where she finds her dirty guilders with which to play, I'll never know, but she be on the binge again the past few nights. She's been clattering up and down the chimney flue so much I can't recall how long it's been since I last slept. The dwarf's sighs, looking frail and old. She'll be home again soon, another gilder in her beak. I have some questions about the dark arts. The old man's ears begin to wiggle with anticipation. Aye, the pail of questions be someday you'll learn the answers, and what then? It'll all be over and you'll be fit for no more than to die. Do you know of the night hag? The room suddenly grows cold. The night hag, is it? The old man's tongue darts out to lick his upper lip. We've had our dealings. She be of the Fae, you know. The Fae? What do you mean? Strange creatures they be in great power. Many like the night hag can shift their shape or be in many places at once. But there be one thing that'd be important if you be dealing with the Fae. And what's that? The old dwarf grips his walking stick tightly. The Fae-born cannot lie any more than they can tell the truth. They live between such earthly things. If you must deal with them, you do so at your own peril. Tell me about the land of the dead. Your question seems to give him pause. The land of the dead be a vast place, he begins. More vast even than the world we come to know in life. Many like Brogan have crossed into that place. Some have even returned to tell its tale. Worse yet, however, are those things that cross from that world into our own. And what things are those? The old dwarf pounds his walking stick into the stone floor with such force that the noise seems to echo and rebound forever within the chambers. I will not grace them with a name, he growls. Have you ever seen an ethereal leak? Every day of my long, long life, he sighs. He brings his head of the walking stick up, letting it caress your face. I'm sorry to hear your sacrifice, lad. Alrighty then. Please don't caress my face with your stick, okay? It's kind of awkward feeling. What do you mean, my sacrifice? The one-armed man looks up at you surprised. I'm sorry, child. When you ask them, I only assumed that you could see them too. It is said that those who have sacrificed everything for a cause can see them. He gazes down at his stitched sleeve, his one hand coming over to rub the stump of his shoulder in memory. But I can see them. He eyes you for a moment, resolving some internal debate. Then mayhaps the Nartag has a hand in it. I know what I know, but if she be involved, the gods themselves can't fathom what may happen. I'm not going to be able to afford shit.
The old man nods as you approach.
Can you give me an example? There be a wall behind me place called the Old Man's Well, though I be named more for it than for me. Long ago it be a spring of foul waters that was where the stone had rested many years. Now it be but a well that even be dry, but yet a new spring flows within the barrow site where the stone be kept. Why is that? They draw on the same water of Brogan's tears. One can even travel between them if you do not mind the rats. You see, the Cavignon stone draws the waters to it. Your well leads to the Cavignon stone? Oh, now, that well not be to claim, but in a matter of speaking, yes. If you follow the foul waters of Brogan's tears, they'll lead you to where the stone last rested. Do you have any scrolls I can steal? Of course not. Lug found 7 million of them, and I will find none.
Incense smolders in a pot, filling the room with a pungent purple smoke.
Ooh. Alright folks, that wraps it up for this vid. Stay tuned for some more Neverwinter Nights The Witch's Wake expansion.